So these are the Eureka Valley Sand Dunes here in Eureka Valley, which is inside Death Valley National Park. Now, I've been to the sand dunes in the southern part of the park, but they are not as big as these ones. These are like 3 times as big, I think, or something like that. These are huge. And you can see some hikers up there that have already climbed up to the summit there. I think there's 4 hikers altogether up there. Yep. And yeah, these are just out here at the far end of Eureka Valley, looking around here. You got the mountains over there, and then the valley straight ahead, and then the other mountains here on the left. See how the brush makes a circular pattern in the sand when the wind blows it around? It whips it around, you know, left and right, and makes those concentric circles. Got some animal tracks here, cutting across the sand. And here's the dunes in front of me. Yeah, this is not the easiest hiking. Every so often, every couple steps, you kind of sink in a little bit. So it's not the easiest thing to hike on. And it's about 95 degrees right now, and the temperature is climbing. Probably get to about 108 here in a couple hours. 108 degrees Fahrenheit. But I don't know if I'm going to make it to the top up there. You can see my footprints there, how I'm sinking in. So that makes for some very difficult hiking, especially in these kind of temperatures. Boy, from this vantage point, if you didn't know it, you might think you're in the Sahara Desert or someplace else besides Death Valley. My goal is to reach that little clump of brush there. Well, I made it to the clump of brush that I was trying to get to. Wow, check that out. Most of this is dead, but there's some green. So it's still alive, even though it looks like it's dead. It's amazing how things survive here in the desert, where there's hardly any water. But look at that. Eventually this will let loose and become a tumbleweed. But yeah, so there's the high point up there. Don't know if I'm going to get up there. I'm going to sit down here and take a break. But yeah, coming up this part wasn't so bad. I didn't sink in very much. It's really compacted here and pretty firm, the surface. But I'm going to park it here and take a break. So where does all this sand come from, and why is it here? Well, I'll have to research that and put a caption here in the video that explains it briefly. But I will say this much: if somebody didn't know what they were doing and came out here ill-prepared, especially now in the summertime like I am, you could die out here if you didn't have enough water or weren't prepared. You know, this is no joke. This is out in the middle of nowhere, no cell phone reception whatsoever. There's no sources of water. And yeah, it'd be easy to come out here and not have enough water, and when it's 110 degrees out here, and start hiking and have a serious problem. Oh, there's my truck. No, I'm just kidding. There's the guest of honor. The old 2006 Corolla out here in Eureka Valley in the middle of nowhere. Well, I made it to the first little rise here. Pretty much standing on top of it. And the main hill is right here in front of me where those hikers were. They were right up there at the top, but I saw them hiking up. They were over there somewhere just beyond that ridge. So this is pretty steep here, so I'm not even going to attempt this. That would be really a bad idea. But it's amazing how smooth the sand is for the most part. Here's kind of a downhill section that's kind of steep. Yeah, I'm not going to go up to the top. It's just right up there. But come back here in the winter when it's cooler and do the whole thing. And actually on the other side of these dunes are even more dunes. So it's a pretty extensive place. But here you can see that the edge of the dune there, how it comes down there. And it drops off right here in front of me, kind of steep. But we're headed back over that way.